Welcome, dear soul. You're not here by accident. This is God and the Other Side, the channel where eternal truths, personal revelations, and divine mysteries meet the human heart. Today, we explore one of the most powerful accounts ever shared by a man of God. This isn't just a story, it's a wake-up call. A Christian pastor, trusted by thousands, died momentarily during surgery, and what he saw beyond the veil changed everything. Before we dive into his vision, I want to ask you something. What would you do if you saw heaven and then were sent back to tell others? Would you speak of glory or warning? This pastor came back with both. His story is profound, emotional, and at times unsettling, but it's one of the clearest glimpses we have into the eternal reality that awaits every one of us. So before we continue, if you find value in these deep, soul-searching stories, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to God and the Other Side. Your support allows us to keep sharing messages that stir hearts and point people back to God. Now, take a breath. Let your heart be still and prepare to hear a testimony that may shift how you see life, death, and eternity. The man's name is Elijah Green. He had preached for over 30 years, serving a small-town congregation in Tennessee. He baptized hundreds, performed weddings, and stood at countless gravesides. He had spoken about heaven many times, but he never imagined he'd see it. One evening, during a routine heart surgery, complications arose. His heart stopped. For over 20 minutes, he was clinically dead. What happened next he described as more real than life. He said he awoke in a garden, but not one of earth. The grass shimmered. Every blade sang. There was a scent, something like wildflowers and rain, but alive. The air itself felt conscious. He wasn't alone. Beings of light stood at a distance, watching silently. He didn't feel judged. He felt known. Every thought, every moment of his life echoed in that place. Then came the light. It wasn't just bright, it was knowing. It was Jesus. Not with a name tag, not in robes of gold, but in presence. Love so intense it made Pastor Elijah weep, without tears. He said, "I wasn't afraid, I was undone. I knew I belonged, yet I knew I was unworthy." Jesus spoke, not in words, but in waves that passed through his being. "What you taught of me was true, but now go back and live it with fire. The time is short." Suddenly, he was pulled through what he described as a tunnel of souls, faces both joyful and tormented, some reaching up, some falling away. He realized judgment is real, grace is rare, and love is everything.
He awoke in the hospital, shouting, "The king is coming! The king is coming!" Doctors and nurses thought it was delirium, but those who knew him saw something different. His eyes burned with urgency. His heart had shifted. He sold his house. He gave up his pension. He began traveling, speaking in prisons, shelters, and even on street corners. "What I saw," he said, "wasn't just for me. It was for everyone still breathing." He described seeing a child he never knew his wife had miscarried. "She was radiant," he said. "She knew me. I wept for the years I never knew to grieve." He saw moments of his sermons replayed in eternity. Times he preached out of pride, and the few times he spoke from real surrender. Only what was done in love remained, he said. The greatest shock? He saw people he didn't expect to see in heaven, and he didn't see some he thought would be there. God sees the heart, not the platform. Pastor Elijah's story forces us to look inward. Are we living what we say we believe? Are we loving more than judging? Are we preparing our souls or distracting them? His story isn't meant to entertain. It's meant to awaken. You don't have to be a pastor to be called. You don't have to die to begin truly living. What you do need is this: humility, sincerity, and the courage to ask God, "Search me and know me." Because one day, we will all step beyond the veil, and the only thing that will matter is what we did with His love. So let me ask you, are you ready? Have you made peace with God? Is there someone you need to forgive? Is there a truth you've been running from? If Pastor Elijah could sit with you today, he'd say this: don't wait for death to change. Choose life now. Choose grace now. Choose Christ now. And so we leave you with this. If this story stirred your soul, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to God and the Other Side. Every single click helps us spread more light, more hope, and more truth to those searching in the dark. Thank you for watching. And remember, heaven is real, time is short, and love is eternal. We'll see you in the next story.